right. Welcome, everyone. I am Miles Threat. Thank you for joining me for Legacy Leaders Lounge today, where I help operations, supply chain, and manufacturing leaders build adaptive, high performing teams and that thrive in the chaos. And as you know, there's a lot of chaos going out there right now. And we're going to dive in today on the subject of the engagement tax and why people are quietly quitting and leaving your organization and why you can't keep them engaged. Okay. And it's something that everyone in manufacturing, supply chain, doesn't matter the industry right now, you're all are dealing with it in some shape, form, or fashion. Okay. By the way, this is a working live session. I make any mistakes along the way, I'll do my best to make them up. This is not polished in any way, shape, or form. So we're just looking to make progress here and to bring you some value added information. So engagement scores, they do not lie. They tell you a lot of truth about you and your organization and where you stand and what your people think about you, as long as they feel safe telling the truth. And sometimes, based on the platform you use and how you determine uh, where the engagement is coming from and measure it, that sometimes can impact their truthfulness and their honesty with you. Uh, if they don't feel safe with you, you're not going to get real answers. So, when trust drops, what happens with your organization? Guess what? Your costs, they go up. Trust has a huge cost on your leadership, on your organization, on your bottom line. And today, I'm going to help you diagnose your engagement tax. How many of you love to pay taxes? I don't. I want to try to avoid paying my taxes as much as possible. Don't get me wrong. I want to be honest. I want to be truthful. I want to be straightforward. But I do not want to pay any extra tax than I'm already being taxed because, in my opinion, I'm being taxed too much. And your engagement is a tax on you and your business. And it's taken away from your productivity, taken away from your bottom line. How are we going to mitigate that risk? How are we going to reduce your engagement tax? And I'm going to give you some pointers here, and I'm going to give you something that you can apply this week, and I hope you put it into practice right away. So if you're live, drop your role title in the chat. If you're watching on the replay, drop it in the comments because I love to respond. I love to hear from you. Give me your feedback. What do you think about this? What do you think about my presentation? And do you find this useful or beneficial for you and your work? Okay. So first off, let's look at a audit. Let's do our own trust audit today live here as we work together. And that first thing that we're going to talk about, a question I have for you, and here's how it works. There's 5 questions, and you're going to rate yourself 1 to 5. 1 being I suck, and 2, you can say you're wonderful. Okay. 5, you're amazing, wonderful, you're world class, whatever you want to say 5 looks like for you. Okay. But it's rating yourself 1 as, hey, I suck, we're terrible at this. 5 as we're amazing, great, wonderful, whatever it might be. And the first question has to go around clarity. Do people know what good looks like? Good engagement. Do you know your people know what good engagement looks like? You got to get clear on that first. If you can find clarity around that and determine that for yourself, and if you're good, the next thing you need to work towards is getting a great. Right? So where do you rate in there? Do you give yourself a 1? Do you fall in the 3, or are you a 5? All right. The next is consistency. Are your standards enforced fairly? Fairly across the board for everyone? Consistent. That's a difficult one because most organizations I've ever worked for or worked with, they suck at consistency. You're human and you choose favoritism over being consistent. And you don't hold it. You talk about standards, but you sure as hell don't hold people to them, especially those people you like the best. So, what did you rate yourself on? 1? Or did you rate yourself as 5? Candor. Can people tell you the truth without fear? That's a tough one. I know. That's hard. I've had the pleasure to work with people I trust, and we were able to be candid with each other. It wasn't always pretty, but I was able to take it. Because when I was acting like an asshole and being needed told I was acting like an asshole, I knew it anyway. And I kind of needed to hear it. And I've worked with people that needed to hear truth. Not the kind of truth you can share out loud, but the kind of truth you just whisper in their ear. You take them to a room and it's only you and them. And you be very candid about their performance or about anything else that they need to hear right then and there. So, can people be candid with you? Rate yourself 1 to 5. Care. Do you know what matters to them outside of work? That's right. Those people, a lot of them, all they want is to make their money, hit that door, hit the gate, get out of there, get their benefits, make their time for the day. Hey, man, as long as they give me a good 8 hours, I don't care. But I do need to care a little bit about their life. Do you care enough to know anything personal about them? What their kids up to, what they like to do, what they normally go do on the weekend. They got a birthday coming up. They just went on a trip. How did it go? Where did they go? Maybe they have aspirations to grow in the company. Do you even know that? Care. How do you rate yourself? 1 to 5. Finally, 5th question, commitment. Do you protect the team from dumb chaos? That's where you need to be committed. You need to protect your team. And can you do that? Or are you that leader just causes unnecessary extra chaos? Okay. So how do you rate yourself on that commitment? Do you protect them from dumb chaos? Now, what you need to do, you've rated yourself on those 5 questions. Simple math. Just go add it up. Add your score up. If you're under 15, you suck. You've got an engagement problem. That's right. I said you suck. And you got trust debt out the yin yang. Okay. And you got a lot of work to do. Okay. If you scored above 15, you're in that 15 to 20 range, you still got some work to do. If you're 20 or higher, you're doing pretty damn good. Okay. And maybe you need to work on one of those areas that you rated yourself lower in and just work on improving that right now. Anything that's a 5, keep it at that level. Whatever is working, keep it working. Whatever's below where you need it to be to get to a 5, focus on that one thing. Okay. So now that you've rated yourself, you know where you stand. Here's some simple logic around that engagement tax to help you understand a little bit clearer. How is it impacting you? See, trust debt shows up in several ways. It shows up in turnover, absenteeism, quality issues, missed schedules, and supervisors firefighting all day long. Now, if you've got supervisors doing the job of your team members on the line, you got a really problem, a bad problem. Okay. And I'm just going to give you some conservative assumptions right now to try to figure this out. Okay. And show you. Okay. So let's just say you have 10 extra call outs on Monday and Friday. Mondays and Fridays. Yep. People love that Monday and Friday leave act and they love to call out. And you get 10 extra call outs on Mondays and Fridays, almost on a regular basis. Okay. So 8-hour shift at $30 to $40, that's fully loaded hourly costs. That's including not only pay, but benefits, everything, all under one lump sum. So let's just put it right around that $30 mark. Okay. So that's 160 hours a week at times $30. You're looking at close at around $4,800 a week that is costing you weekly, right? That is around 240 to $250,000 a year. That is your engagement tax right there. Okay. And that's before disruption costs. That's before that might cause overtime, that might cause downtime, it might cause quality issues, might cause missed shipments, could be supervisor time spent on the line to cover for that person. All right. So if you include that as well, man, that's another 1.5 to 2 times the cost. And now we're getting above $300,000 of engagement costs because people want to lay out on Monday and Fridays. And that's the cost of that engagement tax. All right. So, what's just one execution move you could do right now to help you improve on your engagement? Okay. And this one comes up a lot. Okay. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to teach you the 5-minute Shift-Start Trust Huddle. Okay. And this is where you got to work on make sure you're getting the right information out to your people, you're communicating well, and that communication is going to improve engagement because the organizations I've worked with in the past that have engagement issues and they have uh, normally if they have engagement issues, they have some communication issues as well. All right. And so I've had help companies deal with that. And so I'm going to teach you the 5-minute shift start trust huddle is what I'm calling it. Okay. And it's just basically in this 5 minutes, you're going to use something that I borrowed from the military, from the Army. It's called bluff, bottom line up front. It is a communication method that you use to get that bottom line information up front so people have it clear and understood what is the information they need, what are the expectations to go along with it. Okay. And it comes in 3 bullet forms. And the first bullet is purpose. All right. And that purpose, you cover that in the first 45 seconds to the first minute of your startup meeting. And really and truly, that's consistently the same about every day. Let's just say in your organization, you build 400 to 500 units of whatever it might be that you build. Okay. Today, we're going to build 400 high quality units safely and efficiently, or maybe today you're going to ship out 400 units safely and efficiently. Okay. That might not change much, but that's going to be the overall purpose. Hey, that's what you're here for. That's what they're coming to work for. They come to work, make a paycheck, and for them to make a paycheck, they got to hit that target. Okay. And if anything changes from that, oh, yeah, you can change that information on the front end, but you don't worry about changing it. It's very consistent. And you can also, at that point in time, throw any big picture items that they really need to know. That could be, hey, family day's coming up next week on Saturday, or maybe they got a health fair coming up next week on Wednesday at a certain time. And don't forget, hey, I know we got to build these 400 units today. We want to do them in a safe, efficient fashion, but don't forget on Wednesday at 2 o'clock, we're going to shut down early and we got a health fair, whatever it might be. Okay. That's your purpose. You got it out there. Then you spend 90 seconds on standards, your safety, quality, and your processes. Okay. Tell them what they need to watch out for if there's any safety risk. What is the quality focus, any defects, specs, anything changes, checkpoints they need to be aware of. And then what is the process reminder, any changes that have happened as far as that is concerned. Maybe this is all related to manufacturing, but there again, in the supply chain, you could be sitting there thinking about, hey, what are the safety concerns? Hey, are they dropping pallets? Are they running into things? They need to be aware of that. Hey, quality. We need to make sure we're getting the product on the truck in a safe, high quality manner, not crushing any boxes, whatever it might be, right? Any processes changed, any shipments changed, any drop ships, increased shipments, those stuff, it comes up in those standards, right? And then the final part of that is obstacles, okay? Ask what will stop us from hitting that 200 a day. Ask your audience, get them involved. If you don't engage them early, especially if you got an early start, if you don't engage them early, I know they're sleeping on you. I get it. Okay. It's early in the morning, maybe your midday shift or late night shifts. You don't know what these people have had to deal with all the night before, the day before. Get them engaged. Ask them a question. All right. And then if they have anything that comes up, you try to address it. Assign it to somebody. Assign it to one of your team leaders. Come back to them if you need to. Say, hey, I'll pull you off the line later on and we'll talk about this. Don't forget about it. Just follow up with them. Okay. And then after you talk about any obstacles that need to be covered, the final thing you need to do is just show some gratitude and tell them thank you for showing up. Thank you for being here. I appreciate all your hard work. And tell them, hey, if you get stuck, you need some help, raise your hand. I'll be here. Your team leaders will be here. We'll be here to help you. Okay. And tell them that you're in it with them and let them see you being in it with them. And once you cover that, just, hey, let's just go out and win the day. All right. And that is the 3-point method of the 5-minute startup huddle. Bluff, bottom line up front, just get to the point. Give them the need to know information they need to have for that day for them to be successful. All right. So I was working with a manufacturing company and they were dealing with engagement issues. Yeah, they had absenteeism, they had high turnover. Okay. But they also had terrible communication scores. And that's a big problem. And it's something that I was assigned to help them with. And I helped them build 2 different tools, frameworks to help them improve their engagement score. And really and truly, they saw their engagement score go up by 7 points. 5 points is good. 7 points was great. I was very happy to see that. And really, the first thing really wasn't my idea. First thing was other leaders' ideas. They just hadn't implemented it. They were kind of waiting around on it, but their idea was, let's just have a daily message board that all the leaders can access, that all the leaders can put the information in it that the team needs to have, and that it's there at their fingertips. And for that organization, it was in OneNote. Everybody had access to it. You could update it. And that daily message board became the tool that was used to guide the startup meetings. And it was also used to make sure everyone was getting the same message. Okay. It had everything they needed from each department, from safety, from HR, from training, from production, from supply chain, all that. It had it all. Okay. And they had that information. And it was a great idea that just really needed to be implemented and tested. And guess what? We moved on it and we made a difference with it. Right. The second thing was learning to give a clear, concise, bluff message. Okay. I basically took the Army's training on bluff, bottom line up front. I wasn't in the Army. Okay. I just learned about it. I found it on YouTube, online, and looked up information about it, and I converted it into a training to provide to the frontline leaders. Okay. And I taught them the method of using bluff and how to do it, not only in emails, but also in their verbal stand-up meetings. Okay. And gave them the skill, taught them how to use the skill, and they began to implement it. And it made a big difference. It helped those leaders know how to deliver a pointed, important information in a 5-minute meeting so that their team had exactly what they needed to know for that day. Okay. And, with that, the thing that comes to my mind when I'm telling you this is there's 2 things I want to point out about this. First, progress over perfection. Any of this that we're talking about, you go back to your trust audit. Any area you want to improve on, you focus on making progress over being perfect about it. Address it, start doing something, get better as you go. All right. And the final thing about it as well, bluff, is that I borrowed and stole that idea from the Army. Okay. You need to borrow and steal good ideas and implement them for yourself. Whatever those ideas might be, just borrow and steal those ideas and implement them in a way that works for you and your organization. And that's all I did with bluff. I stole it, borrowed it, whatever word you want to use. I didn't change the acronym. Yeah, did I get an Army credit when I introduced the idea to them? Yeah, I did. I gave it to them. Okay. I didn't write it in a book or anything, but I stole it and found as much information and implemented it in a way that could be used in an operations setting. Okay. So if you found that beneficial, I have an offer for you. And that offer is this: I'm starting a new Ops Leader ROI challenge. The next cohort starts February 16th. And in that challenge, it's a 30-day challenge. We'll be together for 4 weeks. All right. Virtually, we'll identify and implement a 10K in time or cost savings. We'll get your team AI and automation ready without the fluff. You'll have an AI playbook in your hand when you're done. Will boost your operational efficiency and your team engagement through that time. And you'll learn and collaborate with selected group of peer leaders. Yes, there will be other peer leaders from different organizations inside the group that you will be learning from as well. All right. And if that's something interests you and you think that would add value to you, then you need to DM me or comment ROI. Also in the description below, there's a link for the Ops Leader Challenge that you can go online and register for the challenge as well. So if that's something that of value to you, I'd love to see you inside the challenge. I'm Miles Threat. Thank you for joining me for Legacy Leaders Lounge today, and I look forward to seeing you inside the challenge.